Hello. Right, before you start, I know exactly what you're going to say. Continuity is buggered. Yes, I'm in an entirely different shed. I'm in an entirely different workspace. Just needs must. Life is like this at the minute. Now I'm no permanent place. But for now, it'll do just fine. Today, this is sanding. I'm gonna start sanding all the bodywork. All the filler that I put on, I'm gonna sand the whole thing flat, and then I'm gonna go over it a couple of times. We're talking bodywork now. We're talking bodywork, getting things looking right, getting things feeling right, and ready for paint, right? So you know the drill. Pause the video now, not just yet. Go and grab yourself a cup of tea, and I'll catch you over by the side, this hand side, and we'll talk about the stages, what I'm going to do and how we're going to go about it. Good. Right, I'll catch you over there. Right, okay, so the plan is, you can see I've already made a start here, a couple of different markings and things. Ignore those for now. First things first is the old paint that's already on here, sand the whole thing down. Now, I'm not digging into it by any means. This is keeping things nice and flat with a nice orbital sander. I'm going to start with a 120, I think it is, 120 grit. Perfect. Nice and flat. You're not digging into things, you're not doing any of that sort of stuff. You're not digging to find gold. You're just roughing this paint up so that it's ready to accept another layer of paint, if you like. Once that's done, the whole thing's sanded and there's no fresh paint left on it at all, as in there's no unscored paint left on it. You'll see as we go. I'm then going to hit it with a pen. So I'm going to hit it with my hand, and if I feel any low spots, like a divot or something like that, I'm going to mark it with a circle. And any high spots, I can feel a lump in there, I'm going to mark that with an X. So I know that needs knocking in, and this needs bringing out, or filling, or pushing out from the inside. And then I apply filler and do the rest. That's the next stage. So first stage is sanding, second stage marking, rectifying, and then third stage is sanding again. So that second stage of marking and rectifying is the marking and then the rectifying. So using a hammer or a ball peen hammer on the high points to tap them in, and then put filler on, because you'll tap it in a little bit. You're never going to get it perfect. And on the low spots, if you can't push them out from the inside, you get them flat with a hammer and a dolly, filler. That's how we go. That's how we roll, bro. But that's once the rectifying stage is done, stage 2, we move on to stage 3, which is, you guessed it, more sanding. Once we've done that, and everything's flat, now we're not necessarily going to do all of our sanding on this first stage of sanding, yes, rectifying, second stage. Third stage of sanding is going to be a block and a wooden block, so that we can sand things flat, and I'll also talk about that. And then once that's flat, and I've gone over the whole car by hand, making sure that everything's flat and feels right everywhere, I then do another pass with the pen. High spots, low spots, going over everything again, making sure I've not missed anything. And then once I've done that, guess what? Filler, and then sanding again. And once everything's been sanded again by hand with a block and a piece of sandpaper, it'll be then ready for the stage, sort of the final stages of pretty much paint, where it'll get sprayed with primer again, which is it's a primer paint, very thick, and it acts as a light filler as well. And then it will be sand the whole thing again, and then the very last time with the pen, once more, we'll be checking for small pinholes in that primer. So I'll sand everything down, check for pinholes, and then it'll be a smudge fill of the primer, of the little pinholes I can find on that final stage, a small light flat sanding again with a piece of wood by hand, and then, and only then, would it possibly be ready for paint. It's a long old process. And the worst part is the by hand bit. I've seen guys that use the big plane sanders or the vibrating air dealies. I mean, you can do it with this if you're bloody careful, but it's getting it flat. It's too easy with this for it to lean or catch it, and then suddenly you're digging into it and you're creating more work for yourself. So, without further ado, I'm not going to bore you guys with it anymore. I'm just going to get on with it, alright? So, I'm going to start sanding the whole bloody thing down. I need to take trims like this off, which are going to be nice and awkward and brittle, and then they'll break and I'll never get them back on again. Oh. Oh, it's attached to the bottom of the... Oh, it goes all the way round. Oh, I was not ready for that. Trims like this, the longest trim in the world. These guys are coming off because I need to get a wire bit on the end of the drill and dig out all these gutters, and then sand the whole thing flat. So I'll see you in a second. And yes, before you say it, wear a mask. I don't usually, and haven't for a very long time. However, I've seen the effect that it takes on people that don't use them over a long period of time. And you guys whinge at me, so for you, Jason, there you are. How do you bloody... Where does it go? How the hell does it bloody... Oh, it clicks into... Right, got you. What am I doing wrong? Can you see? I think... Is that it? Aha! Right, let's go. Okay, so after a little bit of sanding, what you're looking for is a flat surface. And what I mean by that, because all of these surfaces are curved and with different angles and shapes and stuff, what I mean by that is if you run your hand over this front piece, this front valance, and you have your eyes closed, you shouldn't be able to feel where any of these pieces are, right? So if you close your hand, you run your hand over, I can't feel anything. I can't feel anything. Oh, I've got something there. Right. And that is what looks like tape or something. There's something under there, so I need to sand that again. Perfect. But all these areas, again, eyes closed, I can feel a little bit there, so that needs a smoother sanding. No. I can't see any bumps, or I can't feel any bumps. I can feel a little bit of something there. Oh, I've marked that already. But everything else, I can't tell where those spots are. Alright, and that's how it should be. Now I'm going to take you round, because you'll feel where there's a divot, and you need to mark it, but I'll take you around here where there is a big lump, and I need to do something about it. Here is a big lump. I'll see if I can get the camera in to show you, but I can feel it, and you can see as I've sanded it, this area has gone straight down to bare metal, so you know this point is high, it's sticking out, and it's the metal. So there's a very specific way of doing this, and it involves one of these guys. You want, oh shit, you want a ball peen, no, stay with me guys, you need a ball peen hammer, and you want to find where the tallest spot is, which is the middle of there, and you want to give it a, you want to just dink it. Right, this is an especially big bump. Usually just one tap and then re-feel it again. And I can feel that starting to go down. I'm not sure, but it looks like this has been a repair patch. I don't know whether or not it's been a hole that's been welded shut and then they've just painted a triangle over it for some bizarre reason. That's already much better. Now you want that as flat as you can get it. It's much easier if you put something metal called a dolly, which is a flat piece of metal. Well, it's sort of curved really, but it's hard. And that would go on the inside of this piece of metal. I've got a splinter. Yeah. That would go on the inside, and I would knock on the metal and it would flatten and stretch that metal out so that it would become flat. I can't do that because this is double skinned. I don't want to cut the inside of the door off. But what I'm going to do is knock this flat almost in very slightly, and then I'll fill it and flat it. That's the way I do it anyway. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Good thing as well to use is, you see that light? Try and use light as you go. Now you can see different shapes in the body as I go down. I haven't sanded that bit yet, but see, already you can see a low spot where I've marked, where that light changes. It gets sucked in like that. So use the light. Okay, so I've reached this point. I'm still on this side. I've done a little bit on the front, as you've seen, but there's all this glue residue from when there was big stickers on the side of the vehicle, on both sides and the back. Nightmare. I have tried everything, right? And before I can hear you typing in the comments already. I have tried heat. I've tried a low heat, a hairdryer. I've tried a heat gun. I've tried a blowtorch. I've tried the heat range from 0 to hero. Yeah, it's still there. I've tried sanding it. I've tried scraping it, which is where you see now I've dug into the paint, which is great. I have tried everything. So now I'm on to the chemical option. I've got all of this to do, all of this to do, all down here to do, and then all the way, and then it stops around about here, just past the door handle, and that's on both sides. Yay! Oh yeah, I forgot, and on the most of the boot as well. Fantastic. So I'll see you in the next video, which will be coming next year when I've finished doing this. I have no idea what I'm going to do. If you guys have got any suggestions, hit me up in the comments below. See if we play. I am desperate. This is going to take me all year. Granted, it is the 2nd of December, but it's still going to take me all year, alright? Hello. So it's another day. I'm just getting these decals off the back. I'm going to get the glue off the side as well. You might have seen I've started to do some sanding on this. Take it all off. I'm undecided what to do, whether or not to build it up to this lip. I'll have to pick somewhere to build it from so that it's equal all the way around, or whether or not I sand this all off and I just cover the weld with it. Undecided yet. Anyway, let's get on with this. To get this off, I'm just going to use some heat, some MAP gas and a blowtorch. I'm not looking to burn it or melt it off, I'm just looking to get it quite toasty. So as soon as I start to see it bubble and stuff, I move away. Too hot. And then a scraper out of the filler tin. Now this will get the plastic decal off, the sticker off, but the glue residue will stay behind. And I'll get that off next. Oh shit. Because at first I was trying to use a chisel and I was digging into the paint, and I was just making more work for myself. But this is much better tool. Plastic, you're not going to scratch anything, you're not going to dig into anything, unless you get the paint too hot. Yeah! Ooh, very good. Very good. Oh, come on. Ooh. Ooh. Just like that. So you'll run your hand across it, be very careful because it's going to be hot, and you can still feel the glue on there. So we'll get the glue off in a sec. Oh, I hope you can see that. Look at it. Like magic. I wish I'd have thought of that ages ago. Right, I'll get some thinner. I'll let the boot cool down actually. I'll get some thinner and we'll make a start on the other side. I'm already doing it. It's going to take ages, but it's it's quicker than what it took me. Yeah, you'll see. Okay, let's go. Wire brush. Where are for what now? Wire brush. Need to turn you off. Don't want fire. Okay, so for this you can see, look at all this glue that's still on there. You can't sand it, you can't scrape it, and I've already started to, I was trying to use a chisel and I've dug into the paint. Not ideal. So when I get all this glue off, I'll have to fill these and sand it, and we want to avoid, we don't want to make more work for ourselves. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some thinners, just standard thinners, just cheap old shite, pretty cheap. You get 10 of that for 15 quid or something. You need a cloth, something to apply that with. You need a little steel wire brush. You could use a bigger one, I guess. I'm going to use this one. Now the thing is, if I use this on this now, nothing, nightmare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my cloth, I'm going to get it sodden in thinners, and then I'm going to start applying that to this. And you'll see when it's starting to work, that chemical, because you'll start to see the glue start to bubble up and clump, and in some areas it will start to disappear. That's when the wire brush comes in. Right, and you can see how easy that's starting to come off now. Could use a little bit more. In fact, yeah. But look how fucking quick that came off. Great. Let's do a little bit more. Now, I can't remember whether or not I actually filmed this for you guys 2 weeks ago, but I'm doing it now, so it's easier to see. Yeah, let's carry on with that. Right. Oh, now that that's done, I'm going to carry on sanding the back of this boot. I'm going to take all the bits off that needs coming off. Probably going to leave the locks and stuff. I'll just tape round them when it's time to paint. But I need to take flat all this off. But first, I need to sand all of this. I need to get this glue off as well. So get this glue off and then sand. Right, cool. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Put the gloves back on. Back. Okay, there's some high spots here where I can see there's been some repair. We've got a little bit here, a bit of rust. That's the part with this, that this first pass, this first sanding is, you're going to find rust where you hoped there wouldn't be. I need something rougher than 120 really. Damn! High spot here. There's a divot here. That is huge. I don't know what the fuck that was. Down here. Whoa, didn't there? Cool. So we've got a big dent in there. I'm going to try and push that out from the inside. That's a dent. This is a high spot here. Massive low. That is very low. That's the back done. First pass. Marked up. Ready to rack. Got this side to do next. And I am dreading it. No, we're not. Gotta keep going. What's the date? It's the 13th of December today. It's getting quite close to Christmas. And yeah, in case I miss it, I don't know when this video is going to come out. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a very peaceful New Year. I'd like to thank you for watching. The video's not over, but I'm thank you for watching up to, you know, for sticking with it really, because I know I've not been very consistent this year, but then life hasn't been that consistent really. Things have been all over the place and they continue to change. I'm in an almost constant state of change, and that's not my fault, I don't think, but I hope it isn't. It seems to be happening, so thank you for sticking with it, and I'm going to try and endeavour to do more. Oh, what is that? More. So yeah, I do this as a job now, so I need to find a way, and I will. I've got a couple of ideas of how I can bring you guys with me on jobs and how I do things for others, you know. So look forward to that. What is this? It's like a weird, like I can scratch it off with my fingernail. It's not paint. I don't know what it is. Very weird. Anyway, back on this. I've done, that side has been sanded first pass. The boot has been sanded first pass. Rust has been dug out and everything's been filled. High spots have been knocked in. There's a couple of high spots on the boot that I want to knock out, which I can, from the inside. And I'm procrastinating now on this. I don't want to start the driver's side yet because there's a lot to do there and I'm avoiding it. So I'm gonna potter away on these bits, see how close I can get these by hand. There's that stuff again. It's like, I don't know what it is. I can peel it off with my hand. What is that? Well, whatever. This is Bodywork. This is Bodywork. It's boring, so thanks for staying with it. If you haven't already, go and stick the kettle on, get yourself a cup of tea. Come on, man. Yeah, good. Next. Ooh. Need new note. Can I feel that? Yeah. Fuck, that is a high spot. I haven't got a pen, so I'll just have to deal with that now. Good. So you can see I'm using a longer board today, and I'm not going over a circle, I'm not doing that, I'm not digging it in or anything like that, okay? The idea is to sand it flat, so that whatever holes you've filled, don't know why I said that like that, any holes you've filled, you want to be able to not feel those at all. You want to run your hand with your eyes closed and be like, what hole? Where's that hole? No, don't even. You'll see people sanding with their hand, terrible idea, because the pressure is distributed unevenly throughout that pad. You'll find that your middle fingers, these three fingers in particular, will leave streaks where you're basically doing that with sandpaper, and you're not going to get a flat surface. The only thing it's really acceptable to use your hand is in corners of windows and stuff, you know, in here and round parts that you wouldn't be able to get a flat block into. That's acceptable. I'll allow it, okay? But for everything else, it's got to be flat. So you want to find yourself a piece of wood, and you want to get the sander on that, and you want to sand this as flat as you can. You want it flat. The back of this is not flat, but this side is. So there we go. Change your sanding discs regularly, because deposits of filler will get stuck and clog these up. And again, you'll get an uneven wear, so you've got to be right on the money, you've got to be on the ball. And you can see, this is a good example of where this was a high spot and I've dinged it in. I've put filler all around this, sanded it all off, and you can see there's just a slight mist, a slight dust of it left, because that's the hole it's filling. The rest of that's flat. I can't feel a bloody thing. So that's all the filler I ever needed. But you have to put it on, sand it off to get there. It's just the way it is, man. Just the way it is. Another thing you want to see, or another thing to point out, you can see how, what's a better one here? This guy here, this is a low point, because you've seen as I started to sand this, I've gone down to metal on both sides of this. So this needs another, I can feel a very, very slight divot in there, and it's nothing, it's very minuscule. So I'm going to whack a load of filler on this again, cover all these three areas, and then I'll sand this flat again until I can't feel that divot. It's only very slight. Again, so you can see this, me sanding has started to eat into the paint around this, and I can still see that I haven't been digging into this paint, but I've been digging into this. So this is all high because this is low. So now I've got an area, again, filler, wait for that to go off, and then sand it all flat again until it wears evenly. There's a little bit of a high spot there. There's a weird shape here which started to appear, and then this was high. Oh, and there's a little bit of rust there as well. So I'll get the sander in there, and that's a low spot. So I'll get the sander in there, dig that out, and then I'll fill all that. You'll find that rust, when you're doing this, you'll see parts that come out of the woodwork that you either address or you could just choose to hide, but once I see it, I can't leave it alone. This guy, big high spot, I can feel that wow with my hand. This one, not so much. So I don't think this needs to come up very much, but this guy, so yeah, even though I've gone through the paint in these 2 points, I can't feel that. But I can feel that very slightly. This guy, I can feel that. That is a lump, that's a big egg sticking out of the car. Van, sorry. So I need to give a big old wing that in, and then again, fill and sand. See, this is it. This is it. It's weeks. It takes so long. It's the finish you're going to be happy with, really. The longer you spend on it, the better it's going to be. But the more you're going to want to top yourself, because you're going to be doing this. You'll have massive forearms, but your mental fortitude will be straight in the bin. After about 2 weeks, I start to hate it. I can't stand it. Up to 2 weeks' time, I'm quite invested in it because I quite like doing it. It's quite cool, but it does start to get frustrating after that deadline. I start to lose them. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with these. I'll stick on the time lapse, put some music on, and then if you want to hear a certain genre of music, type it down in the thing down there, and I'll see what I can do for next time. Yeah. So stick whatever songs you like or kind of genres you like, and I'll see if I can get something close. All right? Yeah. Deal? Okay. What time is it? Oh, 20 to 1. Right. I think that's it. The rest of that was okay. So the time lapse may have looked like it was pretty quick, but that's my time. There you go. All right, I've got to go. So that's me for today. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back in a bit, but for me it'll be next week sometime. So see you in a second. Later. In a few days. I'll see you in a bit.